The galaxy was old. Stars had burned, empires had risen, and civilizations had fallen long before Earth ever launched its first rocket into space. Among the many powers of the galaxy stood the Galactic Union, a council of advanced species who saw themselves as guardians of order. To them, every young world was a child, needing to be guided, taught, and controlled. When their explorers finally detected signals from the small blue planet orbiting a yellow sun, they laughed. Earth's people were still divided, their ships clumsy and fragile, their technology decades, if not centuries, behind the standards of spacefaring races. The Union prepared a mission. A peaceful envoy would be sent, carrying diplomats and scholars. They expected to meet a small shuttle, perhaps Earth's first humble step into the stars. It would be a simple moment, another young species taking its place under the Union's rule. But the Union had made one mistake. They had underestimated humanity. For years, Earth had listened. Faint signals, alien transmissions had reached them, sometimes distorted, sometimes broken. At first, governments ignored them, dismissing them as cosmic noise. But then the patterns grew clear. These were voices, communications between star systems, proof that humanity was not alone. With that discovery came fear. If there were others out there, stronger and older, what would they do if they found Earth unprepared? And so, for the first time in its history, humanity united. Borders blurred, rivalries paused, and secret meetings took place under the highest levels of trust. The plan was simple but desperate. Build something so powerful that no empire, no invader would ever think of Earth as weak. Scientists, engineers, and dreamers from every continent worked in hidden facilities. They mined asteroids for resources, built factories in orbit, and poured their knowledge into one colossal project. The result was a ship unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. They called it the Titan's Wrath. On the day of first contact, the Union's envoy ships entered Earth's solar system. Their sleek vessels gleamed under the sun, symbols of centuries of refinement. The aliens were calm, even amused. They imagined humans would send a tiny shuttle, fragile and slow, to greet them. But their long-range scanners soon detected something strange. An object, massive in scale, was rising from Earth's orbit. At first they thought it was a station, maybe a half-finished colony. But then it moved, fast, far faster than any station could. Its hull stretched like a floating city, armored in black alloys carved from asteroids. Its core pulsed with unnatural energy. Confusion spread through the envoy's fleet. "This cannot be right," their commanders said. "Humans should not have this. Not yet." They sent messages to the strange vessel, expecting hesitation or nervous greetings. Instead, they received silence. Inside the Titan's Wrath, the crew prepared. Every console hummed with power. Every corridor echoed with footsteps of men and women chosen to represent Earth. The captain, an older woman named Admiral Reyes, stood at the command deck, her eyes fixed on the starfield ahead. "Status?" she asked calmly. "All systems green," her officers replied. "Annihilation engine at standby. Shields holding. Weapons charged," Reyes nodded. She was not here to start a war, but she knew the risks. The Galactic Union might smile, but she had seen the intercepted transmissions. Not all members of the Union believed in peace. Some spoke of subjugation, of guidance through control. If Earth came weak, it would be conquered. That was why Earth came strong. The Union envoy drew closer, their ships forming a circle around the human vessel. The alien leaders were uneasy. They had seen warships, dreadnoughts, and fortresses in their time, but the Titan's Wrath radiated a presence different from all of them. One alien scholar whispered, This is no shuttle." The lead envoy sent another transmission, this time firm. "Identify yourselves. State your purpose. You carry weapons of war where peace was expected." For a moment, silence lingered. Then the human reply came, steady and clear. "This is Earth's first step into the stars," Admiral Reyes said. "We come not in weakness, but in strength. We come prepared." The aliens hesitated. To them, this was unthinkable. A species barely past chemical rockets had leaped forward centuries in a few short decades. How? It should have been impossible. But humans had always thrived on the impossible. The Titan's Wrath was powered by something the Union had only theorized: the annihilation engine. It was a gravity-bending drive that drew power from collapsing quantum fields. where other species needed fleets to defend themselves. Humanity had built one ship that could shake entire armadas, and though it was meant for defense, the very sight of it sent ripples of fear through the Union fleet. On Earth, billions watched through live transmissions. Children in schools, workers in factories, elders in their homes all held their breath. Would this be peace? Or would the galaxy's first reaction be war? Admiral Reyes stood firm on the command deck. If they expect a shuttle, she said quietly to her officers, then let them understand this. Earth does not beg. Earth does not kneel. Earth survives. The Union envoy had expected a fragile hand extended in hope. Instead, they faced an engine of annihilation, a warning written in steel and fire. And though no weapon had yet been fired, the balance of the galaxy had already begun to shift. The Union Council had always believed it understood young civilizations. For centuries, they had welcomed new species into their alliance. Sometimes with kindness, sometimes with force, but always with the same pattern. A world would build its first shuttle, then a colony ship, then ask for help. The Union would grant limited technology and protection in return for loyalty. But when Earth revealed the Titan's wrath, the Council's calm order began to crack. In the envoy fleet, panic spread quietly. The alien commanders held private discussions through encrypted channels. "This is wrong," hissed one commander from the reptilian Krith. "Their world is young. They should be begging for scraps, not arriving with a fortress ship." Another, from the insectoid race called the Drakari, clicked nervously. If they truly built this, then they are dangerous. Too dangerous, the envoy leader tried to sound steady. Perhaps it is only for show, a shell, nothing more. But when they scanned the ship again, their fears grew. The hull was layered in dense metals stripped from asteroids. The weapons bays glowed with stored energy, and in the heart of the ship, readings made no sense at all. Something pulsed, something raw, bending gravity in ways the Union had only dreamed of. The humans had done the impossible. Aboard the Titan's Wrath, Admiral Reyes watched their movements carefully. She saw how their ship spread wider, how their scanning beams grew sharper. She knew what that meant. "They are afraid," said her science officer. "They should be," Reyes replied, though her voice carried no triumph. She understood the danger. Fear could turn quickly into aggression. Her crew was tense but disciplined. Many were young, chosen for their skill and resolve. They knew the truth. This mission was not just about first contact. It was a test of survival. If they failed, Earth would be vulnerable. If they succeeded, humanity would step into the galaxy with strength no one could ignore. The Union Council held an emergency session, light years away but linked instantly through faster-than-light communication. Holograms of alien leaders filled the chamber, voices overlapping with fear and anger. "They defy the natural order," one delegate roared. "They are too unpredictable," said another. "A species that leaps so far so quickly will not obey rules." "But is it not impressive?" whispered a scholar from the peaceful Trivens. "Think of it! A world so young, yet they forged such power in unity. Perhaps they are meant for greatness." The council argued, but in the end, the decision leaned toward caution and control. Earth, they said, must not be allowed to remain unchecked. Back in the envoy fleet, orders were given. A Union battleship larger than the rest moved forward. Its commander sent a stern message to the human vessel. "Earthship, you carry forbidden weapons. You will power down and submit to inspection. Failure to comply will be seen as aggression." On the command deck of the Titan's Wrath, Admiral Reyes listened in silence. She looked around at her officers, each waiting for her word. She pressed a button and sent her reply. "Earth does not submit. We did not cross the stars to kneel. If you come as friends, we welcome you. If you come as masters, you will find we are not your servants." Her words were calm, but they struck like thunder. The alien fleet reacted with shock. Some demanded immediate attack. Others hesitated, remembering how easily humanity had leaped forward. Still, the battleship pressed closer, its weapons powered up, energy gathering along its massive cannons. On Earth, billions watched the broadcast. Fear and pride mixed in their hearts. Would this be the first battle between humanity and the stars? Inside the Titan's Wrath, tension thickened. The crew stood ready at their stations. The annihilation engine thrummed faintly, as if alive. The battleship commander sent one last demand: comply, or be destroyed. Admiral Reyes closed her eyes for a brief moment, thinking of the generations who had worked to build this ship, of the children on Earth watching, of the fragile hope humanity carried. Then she opened them and gave her order. Bring the annihilation engine online. Defensive mode only. Let them see. The ship trembled as the engine awakened. A pulse spread outward, invisible but powerful. The very fabric of space rippled around the Titan's wrath. The alien battleship's sensors screamed with alarms. Their shields flickered. Their weapons dimmed. Their engines slowed as if caught in a heavy current. No shot had been fired, yet the mighty battleship was trapped. The alien crews panicked. "What is this power?" shouted one officer. "It is tearing our systems apart." The commander tried to remain steady, but his eyes widened as his displays went dark. One by one, the ship's weapons shut down. Its engines froze. Its shields collapsed. From the human vessel, a second pulse radiated, this one sharper. The battleship trembled violently. Panels shattered, lights flickered, and then silence. The great ship, pride of the Union fleet, drifted powerless, its systems completely undone. Across the envoy fleet, fear turned to horror. In seconds, the humans had crippled a warship that would normally take a whole armada to defeat. On the Union Council, silence fell. Leaders stared at the data in disbelief. One weapon, one ship, and yet it had ended a battleship without firing a single cannon. It was no bluff. The humans had truly built something beyond the Union's reach. Aboard the Titan's wrath, Admiral Reyes gave her crew calm instructions. "Hold fire. Do not destroy them. Let them see what we can do without killing." Her officers obeyed. The crippled battleship drifted in shame, alive but helpless. The message was clear. Humanity was strong but not cruel. Reyes then sent a transmission, her voice steady, carried across the stars. "We did not come for war. But we will not be ruled. Earth stands as equal, or Earth stands alone." For the first time in centuries, the Union faced a new reality. A species they had expected to control had instead revealed strength enough to challenge them all. The miscalculation was complete. And far away, in countless worlds of the galaxy, whispers spread like fire. The galaxy had seen many wars. It had seen tyrants rise and empires collapse. But what it saw now was something different. Humanity, once ignored as a small species from a forgotten corner of space, had arrived not with pleas for help, but with strength that shook the heavens. The crippled Union battleship drifted in silence. Its proud banners, its weapons, and its long history of dominance meant nothing against the strange pulse of the human annihilation engine. Every ship in the envoy fleet watched in awe. The alien commanders no longer whispered. They stared at their displays in disbelief. Their strongest vessel had been undone without a single shot fired. Admiral Reyes stood on the command deck of the Titan's wrath, her face calm but stern. She knew what had just happened would echo far beyond this fleet. "Transmit the message," she ordered. Her communication officer nodded and began sending Earth's words across the galaxy. The message was simple. "This is Earth. We come in peace, but not in weakness. We will not kneel, and we will not surrender our freedom. Stand as allies, or do not stand at all." The words reached Union command centers across dozens of star systems. They reached trading worlds, research stations, and colonies spread across the spiral arms. They even reached hidden outposts of species who had long feared the Union's heavy hand. And when they heard Earth's message, something stirred. In the Union Council chamber, silence lingered after the transmission ended. Leaders from every major race stared at one another. Some were furious, others frightened, and a few were quietly impressed. "This is unacceptable," hissed a Krith warlord. "They must be crushed before their defiance spreads." "Crushed," said a Trivan elder softly. "Did you not see what they did? One ship, and they disabled your strongest battleship. If we attack them, we may awaken something we cannot stop." Others argued. Some wanted to launch fleets at Earth. Some wanted to isolate the humans until their technology could be stolen. A rare few believed that maybe, just maybe, Earth could be a partner rather than a threat. But one truth united them all. The balance of power had changed. Meanwhile, among the common people of the galaxy, rumors grew into legends. Merchants told tales of a planet that had forged a ship stronger than any fleet. Soldiers whispered about a weapon that could unmake warships with a single pulse. Scholars debated how a young species had leaped centuries of progress in mere decades. And in every corner of space, one question spread like fire. What else are the humans hiding? Aboard the Titan's Wrath, Admiral Reyes held a private meeting with her officers. "We have shown them our strength," she said. "Now they must decide whether to see us as enemies or equals. But we must also decide, what kind of role will humanity play in this galaxy?" Her officers exchanged uncertain glances. They had trained for battle, but not for politics. Still, they knew the truth. Earth's destiny had already changed. One officer, young and bold, spoke first. "Admiral, the Union will never forgive us for shaming them. They will come again, and harder." Another shook his head. "Or they will fear us enough to leave us alone. Fear can be a shield." Reyes listened, then spoke firmly. "Fear alone is not enough. We did not build this ship to become tyrants. We built it to survive. But survival is not the same as isolation. If we want a place among the stars, we must show not only strength, but also wisdom." Her words settled heavily on the crew. They had proven their power. Now they needed to prove their purpose. The next days were filled with tense silence. The envoy fleet did not attack, but it did not leave either. Alien eyes watched the Titan's Wrath constantly, measuring, scanning, studying. Finally, a message came. Not from a commander, but from one of the scholars on board. "Human vessel, your strength is clear, but what is your goal? Do you seek conquest? Do you seek dominion? Or do you truly seek only survival?" Admiral Reyes answered with the same calm voice that had carried Earth's first declaration. "We seek freedom. We seek peace for our people. But we will never trade that peace for chains. If you come as allies, we welcome you. If you come as masters, then you will find Earth unyielding." The reply was carried to the Council, and to countless listening ears across the galaxy. In the days that followed, the Union split. Some factions wanted war, others demanded negotiation. But one thing none could deny was the truth. Humanity had arrived in strength, and their will could not be ignored. The alien races who had long lived in the Union's shadow began to see hope. If the humans could stand, perhaps they too could dream of freedom. A shift began, quiet but unstoppable. On Earth, celebrations erupted. People who had once feared the stars now looked upward with pride. For the first time in history, humanity was united not by fear of each other, but by their shared future among the stars. Children drew pictures of the Titan's Wrath. Songs were sung, flags were waved, and every person understood that their world had stepped into legend. But Admiral Reyes, standing at the window of her great ship, did not celebrate. She watched the stars in silence, knowing the truth. The galaxy was vast, filled with empires, dangers, and mysteries yet unseen. The Titan's Wrath had given humanity a beginning, but the road ahead would not be easy. Still, she allowed herself one small smile. "Let them come," she whispered. "We are ready." The envoy fleet finally withdrew, carrying with them stories that would shake every corner of the Union. And as their ships faded into the distance, the Titan's Wrath remained in orbit, a symbol of Earth's defiance and Earth's hope. Where aliens had expected a shuttle, they had faced an engine of total annihilation. And though no war had yet begun, the heavens themselves would never be the same.